There's a lot going on in the world right now. Every day we are getting exposed to news of new disasters all around the globe. A lot of us are feeling a sense of hopelessness about the world. Superman's unwavering belief in humanity might just be the inspiration you and I need to make a difference. So today we are exploring how Superman's optimism fuels real world action. In 1933, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster published a story named The Reign of Superman. In this story, Superman is a homeless man named Bill Dunn who was tricked into consuming an experimental drug by an evil scientist. This drug gave him mind control powers which he used for his own personal benefit. When Siegel and Shuster decided to shift to making comic strips, they showed their ideas to various newspaper editors. However, those editors were not impressed and told them that if they really wanted to succeed, they had to come up with something more sensational. This led to them changing Superman to a crime fighting hero instead of a villain. Things did not look hopeful for the duo since they kept getting rejected for years. This was until 1937. At this time, Jerry Siegel visited Jack Leibowitz, who was the publisher of Action Comics. Siegel proposed several stories, but not Superman, since he and Shuster were negotiating a deal with McClure Newspaper Syndicate. In 1938, Siegel had a conversation with both Jack Leibowitz and Max Gaines, who worked for McClure newspapers. Gaines informed Siegel that they had rejected Superman, but that they could forward the Superman strips to Leibowitz to consider them for Action Comics. That same year, they signed a contract with Detective Comics Incorporated, and the rest is history. Although this is up for discussion, Superman is often considered to be the first superhero. Superman popularized this kind of character and established the foundations of a costume, superhero name, superpowers, and an altruistic mission. His success created a wave of new heroes such as Batman, Captain America, and Captain Marvel. This period is called the Golden Age of Comics. The Golden Age of Comics took place between 1938 and 1956, which was right while World War II started. During the Second World War, patriotic heroes with the red, white, and blue costumes were particularly popular. The comics were cheap, portable, and had inspirational stories about good triumphing over evil. These were the types of stories people needed. They needed hope during that time, and it all started with the Man of Steel. Hope is one of the most important things us humans can have and feel. When all seems lost and dark, hope can bring light. Hope is what gets us through the day, and hope is what Superman provides. This immigrant from another planet taught us that no matter who you are, what you look like, or what powers you have, you are welcome. Superman has faced so many challenges such as prejudice, xenophobia, literal attacks, loss, you name it. He has always overcome them with grace and humanity. That is his greatest strength. Superman reminds us that we can all be heroes through kindness. He reminds us of our true potential to make this world a better place, a better tomorrow. Superman makes a choice to believe in humanity even when he witnesses our deepest flaws. His unwavering faith in people, even when they stumble, is what elevates him from a superpowered alien to a symbol that resonates with us across generations. What I like the most about Superman is how he consistently chooses to believe in the best of humanity. He witnesses wars, genocide, corruption, greed, and yet he stays optimistic. This choice is the foundation of his moral compass, the choice to believe in what compels him to act out of hope. Superman doesn't necessarily believe he can save everyone, but he believes everyone is worth saving. Hope is what makes Clark Kent Superman. Hope that humanity can rise above its faults. Hope that justice isn't just an ideal, but a destination. And hope that every act of kindness can spark real and lasting change. After the release of the latest Superman movie, my own Instagram Reels feed was filled with posts of how Superman inspired kindness. The story of Superman has a real impact on the world. A well known and powerful example comes from the 1946 radio show The Adventures of Superman. During their storyline, Clan of the Fiery Cross, Superman confronts a hate group which took inspiration from the KKK. Strategically, the producers of the Superman radio show worked together with Stetson Kennedy. Stetson was an activist and journalist who came from a wealthy family. Stetson had relatives in the KKK, and his family had black servants. One maid was named Flo, and she was like a second mother to Stetson. One day, Flo apparently challenged a white bus driver for overcharging her for a bus ticket. Later that day, Flo was kidnapped by KKK members and they assaulted her severely. This horrific incident showed Stetson Kennedy how evil the KKK was, and it determined him to bring them down. He infiltrated the organization and decided that humiliation was the way to go. He learned detailed information about their secret codes, rituals, and internal workings. He provided the producers with this intel, and over the span of 16 episodes, they broadcasted it to their millions of listeners. This resulted in the mystery behind the clan to shatter. All this exposure humiliated the organization, damaged its recruitment efforts, and helped reduce its influence in American society. Due to Stetson Kennedy, the state of Georgia revoked the KKK's National Corporation Charter. This is a perfect example of how Superman doesn't just represent hope, he embodies it. Combine this hope with action, and we can change the world. Another lovely example is, of course, Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve was obviously known as one of the best Superman actors. In 1995, Christopher was paralyzed from the neck down after a horseback riding accident. Doctors told him he might never breathe on his own again. Reeve didn't give up. He embodied the resilience of Superman in real life. He became a passionate advocate for spinal cord injury research, disability rights, and medical funding. Due to his foundation, public speaking, and advocacy, he helped raise millions of dollars and brought international attention to issues often ignored before. In interviews, Reeve referred to Superman's ideals. For example, he said, "What makes Superman a hero is not that he has power, but that he has the wisdom and the maturity to use the power wisely. From an acting point of view, that's how I approach the role." At a later point, he said, "A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles." He showed the world that resilience isn't just about strength, it's about the will to keep going, to fight for others, and to believe in a better future, even when your own world has been shattered. His journey inspired millions. People facing injury, illness, loss, or trauma found in him, and in the symbol of Superman, a reason to keep moving forward. The last wonderful example I found was in an article written by Yassine Liousfi, and I'm really sorry for mispronouncing the name. They specifically refer to the Smallville version of Clark Kent. Clark obviously has superpowers, yet has to function in a very normal society. The article mentions the example that Clark is a football player. Most people can play football, but it's different for Clark. He has to be conscious of everything he does, and he has to adapt in order to keep his powers hidden. He is so strong, he could severely injure someone. He has to be conscious of how he acts on the field. Doing regular things is harder for some people. Studying can be harder for people with ADHD, and they need to be more conscious of how and when they get distracted. Job interviews are harder for people with social anxiety, and they may require more prep time. Small talk can be more difficult for people with autism spectrum disorder, making it harder to build lasting friendships. Even the smallest tasks, such as brushing your teeth, could be hard for someone struggling with depression, just like Clark can struggle with daily tasks just to seem normal. Yassine continues by saying they found one particular episode of Smallville very motivational. In this episode, a villain tries to kill Clark's friend. Nevertheless, he saves the day while still winning the game and keeping control of his abilities. Jonathan Kent says to him, "When I was there on the field, all I had to do was worry about completing the next pass or getting sacked. We're very proud of you." This mentality is very true for a lot of people out there. You are absolutely allowed to pat yourself on the back for doing things that seem normal and pretty easy to do for most people, but are harder for people who are simply different. Yassine writes that putting in extra courage or effort, even when it gets more complicated, mentally or physically, is a strong characteristic. And they are absolutely correct. The odds are stacked against you, so the fact that you persevere and try is quite super. Superman is an inspirational character. His hope and belief inspired real world action. But does this hopeful manner actually stop and prevent crime? If you're interested in the answer to that question, I suggest you watch this video next. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!